Hello everyone, and on behalf of the Mindalia.com team, welcome. Today, Valeria De Luchi is joining us to tell us about 3 keys to transform your emotional state. Before starting, we are talking a bit about her, of course. Valeria De Luchi is an emotional coach and she works with her therapy, emotional design. So now let's not delay this any further and let's say welcome to Valeria. Hello, Valeria. How are you?
Hello, how are you? I'm very fine, thank you. It's a pleasure for me to be with you today and to have the possibility to share this with you.
Thank you very much, Valeria. It's also a pleasure for me having you here and sharing this space with you. And I don't want to waste your time, so whenever you want, you can start, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you, Delay. Thank you, Mindalia. Well, I'm sure that we are going through very challenging times. And at this moment in our life, we feel that we are praying to the sky for miracles, but we forget that we have the power to do marvels. And you might be thinking, what if I told you that only by thinking positively, we have at least 24 more percent of possibilities of increasing, improving our life in every area of our life. This is no magic, though it's magical. This is science. According to Stanford University, there was a research and they found that there is a big difference between realistic people and positive people. They call them realistic people because there is such a big difference because realistic people tend to think and to be more accurate according to what they think about reality. But positive people, on the other side, tend to have at least, on average, 24% more chances to achieve their goals, to achieve their dreams. So, I know that you heard this before. What if you have a chance to think in different aspects of your life? What if you have the chance to improve your relationships, the relationship with your partner, the relationship that you have with yourself, your economy, your job, what by 24%? What could you do? And I'm sure that you've heard this before. Thinking positive. Yes, it sounds great. But if we know that it's so important for our life, and if we know that we can do it, why is that sometimes it's so difficult for us to be like this? Let me tell you, I'm going to tell you a secret today. Because most of the time, we think that just by thinking positive and being positive, we are going to achieve more results. But that is not the truth. The big player here is the emotional state we are in. The big player is how we are, how we feel, what our emotions are telling about ourselves. And most of the times, we don't realize that we have a very negative mind, that we have very negative emotions. The emotional state that we are in determines the results we are going to get in that situation, but we don't realize about it. It has a tremendous power in our life. Positive emotions leads to positive results. Negative emotions leads to negative results. So what are we going to do? It sounds easy, but what can we do? Today, I'm going to guide you to achieve 3 steps, 3 keys. And if you follow me, I promise, you can do it. And you will have the chance also to transform your emotional state. It sounds difficult, but if you follow these steps, so I suggest you to grab a piece of paper and write down these steps, because this is what I practice. I'm not saying this because I read it in a book. I'm saying this because I practice with this. I'm saying this because I practice this in my personal and professional life with my clients, and I've been studying for personal development, spirituality, energy for 15 years now. And what I'm going to pass you is what is giving me results in my life, and in my client's life. So, are you ready? I hope so. But first, let me tell you something. Let me tell you the truth. People look at me and they think that, I don't know why, but they see me calm and they think that I'm kind of a Buddha or Gandhi. But the truth is that that opinion is far away from the truth, the reality. The truth is that though I've changed a lot in my life, along my life, I transform my emotions using these 3 simple keys, these 3 simple steps, but I don't let the emotions to control me. I am the manager. I decide what I'm going to feel. I have negative emotions. That's fine. That is human. But I don't let them to control me. I'm aware of what I'm feeling. So now is your choice. And I'm going to guide you to 3 simple steps. So I hope by now you have that piece of paper. So we are going to do 3 little steps, little big steps. And the first one, I'm going to name you, and then I'm going to guide you through them. The first one is movement. If we want different results, we need to move our body, because human's brain is transformed by movement. And that movement will be run away from the comfort zone or the fire zone. We are going to see what this means. Breathe and shake up your body. That will be the first step, the movement. The second one is turning on the GPS, our internal GPS. So we are going to give a new direction to our mind. We are not going to tell them all what we don't want. We are going to tell it exactly what we really want. And the third one will be feeding your brain, feeding your mind with good stuff, with vitamins, with positive thoughts, not with all that toxic thoughts that we used to have. And how we are going to do this? Very, very simple. First one, movement. Human brain is transformed by movement. When we do that, when we do certain movements, we are altering our physiology. And by doing that, altering physiology leads to produce good chemicals, good hormones. And some of those hormones are, for example, serotonin. Serotonin is a hormone of happiness. When we are happy, we have a lot of serotonin running on in our brain. And that helps us to feel positive, to think positive also. So, first thing that we have to do is to move. What we are going to do, 3 little big steps. The first one is going to be run away. Yes, run away from the comfort zone, or as I call it, fire zone. And this is going to be the place where we are experiencing that emotional, that negative emotion. So if I'm feeling sad and I'm sitting on the couch, that will be the place. If I'm feeling sad and I am on the desk, so that will be the place. But if you're having a discussion, you're having a fight with someone, that will be the place. So it will be a physical place or a situation, but we have to leave. Because if we stay, what we are going to get is that we are going to feel even bad. If we stay, especially if we are having a discussion or a fight, what we are going to get is something bad for everybody. So we have to move. And the environment, that environment is contributing to have this emotional state. And that's why we need to get out from it. And when we do this, we also are giving the first step to change it. And we are giving, in some way, new air to our brain. So, first movement, run away. The second one is breathing. What do you mean, Valerie? I'm already breathing. Yes, but this step requires us to breathe, to make very, very deep breath, at least 5 or 10. Inhaling by the nose and exhaling by mouth. And when we do this, we start connecting our brain with our body. We start feeling centered. We start connecting with the present moment, not in the past, not in the future, in the moment, in the present. By the way, is the only place where we are, where we have really power. So breathing is the fastest way to connect brain with body. And when we are doing this, we start kind of realizing the negative emotion that we've been experiencing. We start being aware of what is going on the crazy mind. So, breathing, making 5 to 10 very deep breaths will be the second step in this movement, okay? And the third one, I run away, I breathe, I'm centered here and now. What do I need to do? Shake up your body. This is the moment to create a new physiology. This is the moment to break up the old pattern, what we don't want, okay? And how are we going to do this? We need to do a movement that is going to create a new physiology. And how do we do that? Shaking our body up, doing some kind of physical exercise that is going to create these new chemicals in our body. And the right way to do this is, I suggest you to go and walk fast for at least 30 minutes, or go to do some running, or because I've heard this on my sessions, Valerie, I'm with my children inside, I can go outside. Well, doesn't matter. Go to the bathroom. Go to the restroom if you need to also. Put your favorite song and start dancing there for 10 minutes at least, as if nobody were watching you. But move fast. Do it for at least 10 minutes. The purpose of this last movement is to shake up our body, to create new chemicals, to change the physiology, okay? So, first step, run away, breathe, shake up your body, okay? Okay, I move. What do I need to do now? Now that we move, we need to know where we are going. And this is the time to turn on the GPS. This is the time to tell your brain, to tell your mind, where do you want to go? And by this, I mean, we have an old direction, which is the negative feeling, the negative emotion. But we need to know now what is the positive emotion that we want to experience. And this is the turning point in changing our emotional state. We all know what we don't want. We all know the negative emotions that we experience. But I can guarantee you, and this is where most of disciplines today don't know where they are going and or they don't get results for. It's because they don't tell the brain, the mind, exactly what is the positive emotion that I like to experience. If you don't do that, you're not going to get results in any therapy. So I know that you're thinking, yes, Valerie, it sounds easy to say, but it's not easy to do. Follow me in this very simple explanation and you'll get something for you. But you need to do the exercise with me, okay? There are a lot of negative emotions, a lot, at least 50 that are on the top of my mind. But generally, every day or along the year, we tend to experience 7 of them that are guilt, loneliness, frustration, anger, anxiety, so common nowadays, frustration. But between those 7, we choose our negative wheel of emotions. And this is, we choose 4, 5 emotions from those 7, and we make them us. This means we choose them along our story. And this is our wheel because they repeat over and over again consecutively. And it's like a wheel. So I suggest you to write down, because in order for us to change, we need to be aware of what is our will. And maybe your will is, okay, I have this anger, and then I experience this frustration, and then anxiety, and finally, I feel sad. Maybe that is your will. You make yours, okay? That is a very huge step, okay? But now we know the negative will. What do? Now we are going to build up our wheel of freedom. What I call, we are going to build up our emotional design, which is going to be the 4 or 5 emotions, positive emotions, that we are going to use to replace this negative will. But the key for doing this well is to look for the positive emotion that really is going to replace this one. And the way to do that, and the way to do it right, is to look for the emotion that resonates with you. When you say it, if instead of frustration, how would I like to feel? What could I like to experience? And when you say the positive emotions, if you don't know what positive emotions, you can look for it, okay? And I don't know, use some Google or whatever to open your mind and look for that one that is going to resonate with you. Then when you say it, you feel kind of something on your stomach, okay? Some butterflies on your stomach. So if that happens, so that will be your challenge. So now we have two lists, the negative will and the will of freedom or emotional design. I have a client that made these two lists and he has it on his wallet, the closet, and the car. So I suggest you, I highly recommend you, in fact, to do this because it's good. It helps us to visualize it, to have it very present. So now we know negative, positive one. What should we do now? Okay, this is a very big decision. The third step will be, are you ready? This is the very last one, okay? The third step will be feeding our mind with vitamins, feeding our mind with positive thoughts. What we do is that we repeat over and over again the same thoughts every day. Human brain has around 70,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of them are the same we had the day before and the day before. So people used to ask me, I don't know why I feel like this. And I ask them, well, what have you been thinking lately? Oh, I've been thinking this and this and this and this and this. Well, there is a correlation between what you are saying, what you are thinking, and how you're feeling. And most of the time, we have very negative thoughts and we are not aware of it. We kind of drink, I say in my sessions, and I say here with you, maybe it's strong, but it's true. We drink poison and we expect to feel well, and we don't realize why we feel the way we do. Well, what about stop drinking that and start drinking vitamins? If you feed your mind with positive things, the mind is going to respond to that thinking. So it's going to create a correlation between the way you think and the way you feel. And how do we do that? Again, it sounds easy to say, but not easy to do. How do we do this? Very, very easy. Make a list of at least 10 ideas, 10, okay, that you have related with that issue, related with that negative emotion, and start writing down all the thoughts you have about that situation. And what we are going to do after doing that list is making another list. But now we are going to do a list that is positive. And listen, I'm not saying that it has to be too pink. I call it too pink. Because if you're feeling, I have a terrible, I'm giving you an example. If you're saying, I have a terrible marriage, I can handle this situation, you're not going to write down as positive, I have a beautiful marriage and my husband is great. Because you're not going to believe it and it's not going to be useful. What we have to do is to write down something, I say, at least neutral. Maybe you can't say, oh, I had a wonderful marriage, but you can say, I'm working on my marriage. I'm working on this situation. And I'm doing the best I can. And the other person is doing the best they can. And that feels, tell me if not, and that feels totally different. But when we start putting different stuff on our mind is going to start also responding different to us. So, guys, does all these steps work? Yes, they do. But we have to practice. And the main ingredient for that is committing ourselves to change. Neuroscience says that we need to practice the new pattern at least 24 times to put that new pattern in our brain, to make the new neuronal connection stronger and wider. So when we do that, the brain will go through that path easily, but we have to practice it. So I like to think, okay, I need 24 times to repeat this new pattern to get at least 24% on average better results. It works, but we need to practice and we need to be committed to it. And I'm sure that if you follow these steps, you can do it also. And now I'm open to all of your questions. Yes.
Thank you very, very much, Valeria, for sharing your time and, of course, your knowledge with all of us. If you agree, and as you said, we are starting to incorporate into our conversation some questions from the people watching us. Let's start with Jose. That's a Spanish question. So if you agree, I'm reading it in Spanish, and after that, I'm translating it to English. ¿Cómo haces, José desde España, cómo haces para evitar que tus emociones te controlen? A veces tengo pensamientos muy negativos y entro en un ciclo de ansiedad, angustia y apatía del que no sé escapar. In English now. How do you keep your emotions from controlling you? Sometimes I have very negative thoughts and I enter a cycle of anxiety, anguish and apathy from which I cannot escape.
Thank you. I understand, Jose. Let me tell you, we all can do this. I mean, we all have the tendency to do that. But if you follow the steps from the beginning, okay? From the beginning, if you move your body, if you run away from the comfort zone, from the fire zone, breathe and shake up your body. Put the GPS saying, okay, this is the negative feeling. This is the one that I'm choosing. And you feed your brain with positive thoughts and you repeat this process, because as I said on the conclusion, we need to practice it. And science says that we need to practice it at least 24 times to create a new pattern. If we don't practice it, of course, you're not gonna get it. But if you do it at least 24 times, 24 consecutive times, you'll be creating the life you want. And what do we do with the thoughts? Let me tell you what I use on my sessions, okay? When you do all the list with all the negative thoughts that you have, and I really highly suggest you to do it. To make that list, okay, I'm thinking this, and I'm thinking this, and I'm thinking this, and I feel this. What you're doing is what I call catching flies. Catching flies. It's funny, but it's true, because when we have a negative thoughts, it's like a fly around our brain. If we don't write it down, it's going to be like a fly. It's annoying, very annoying, right? And it goes all the day around our brain. But when we write it down on a piece of paper, we start being aware of it, and we have the chance to catch it. So that's why I highly encourage you to write down all those negative thoughts and start doing the other list, because that is easy. That is complain. Okay, I'll start catching flies. Okay, I'll do it. But till that place is it kind of easy, because that is part of complain. Okay, the challenge is to do the new list. This is a new list. Okay, instead of thinking this one, I'm going to think this one also. Yeah. Okay, so it's not, if we do this general, it's not going to be useful. We need to be specific. Okay, so instead, as I said, instead of saying I have a horrible marriage, you can replace it. You cannot replace it with I have a beautiful marriage. But maybe you can say I'm working in the marriage. Okay, so be specific and do the new list and have it with you. Have all this process with you. Have all these steps with you. You don't need to do it as my client does in your car, in your class, and in the wallet. No. Okay, but you can, and it helps a lot. And I'm saying this because, listen, I work with this, and I have clients that been working with these negative emotions for years. And when they come to the therapy, they say, I have had a client that said he came into the session, at that time it was personal, and he came in and said, okay, I'm here just because a friend of mine asked me to do this, okay? But I don't think that is going to help me. I've been going through this with the psychologist and the psychiatric for years now, 20 years. So I don't have faith on you. Okay. And I think to myself, okay, that's very positive. But we start working. And now he is a new person. And it took him 6 months, but he changed. So the steps that I'm giving you, I know that if you apply them, I know that you have the same chances. So I don't know if there is any other question. I hope.
Thank you very much, Valeria, for your answer. Now let's continue, because we've got more questions for today. Let's continue with Marta Fitzgerald. She's writing us from Cuba, and she says, how to improve our self-confidence. I have found a new job as a singer. Congratulations, Marta. And I am afraid I will not measure up.
Beautiful. Thank you. Well, Marta, Self-confidence is like a big field, and we tend to look for the excuses because of we don't have good self-confidence. In where? You tell me where. In our past. And we say, we have expressions like, because of this, and this, so I'm this and this. Well, if that explanation is useful for you, keep it. If not, I like to say, and I work with this also every day with clients and with myself. Self-confidence is, and listen, I know that there are plenty of books, plenty of information outside about self-confidence, but we can resume it in one word. Is a decision. Is a decision that we make in think about ourselves in a positive way. And again, if I say, oh no, I have a terrible voice, I can't believe that I'm so pathetic, and I am, if you go through that path, we are not going to get good results. The way we talk about ourselves is exactly, reflects exactly what we are going to get. So we don't have to lie to ourselves. Oh, I don't know why I'm not discovered yet. No, it's not useful lying to ourselves. But we can say, no, I have a good voice and I'm working on it. Instead of looking at what is not working, we have to focus on what we have. And most of the time, we tend to be terrible with ourselves. We are very critical because we learn that by criticizing, this is a very, very old knowledge, okay? But maybe people from their 50s, they still have it. Thank God, 40s, 30s, not that much. But we learned that by criticizing ourselves, we could improve. This is what is called a belief, a limiting belief. Is absolutely not true that by criticizing ourselves, we are going to be good at all. So you have two options. Looking at you in a poor way, which is going to lead to poor results, or talk to yourself with love. Looking at what you have.
Sorry, Valeria. We've got 4 minutes left, so we are trying to run from this moment on, because I want to answer at least 2 questions more. For example, Bling Bling, that's the nickname from YouTube and from the United States, says, some tips for sleeping at nights. Even at nap time, I have totally surreal nightmares and I wake up anxious and exhausted.
Well, I didn't get your name, but
it's a nickname, and it's Bling Bling.
Bling Bling. Okay, Bling Bling. No, we need to also control our emotions when we go to sleep. If we go to sleep and what we do is to feed our mind, or we've been doing that along the day, and we feed our mind with negative thoughts and we turn on the news and we talk with friends about how bad the things are, and we are intoxicating our mind, we are intoxicating ourselves, and we are expecting to go to sleep like babies. No, we can't not do that. It's like because if we are intoxicating ourselves, of course, it's hard to sleep. It's going to be hard to sleep. So I'm having some clients experiencing this. So what I suggest is to turn off all the negativity in your life. Okay, first step. Second, when you're going to sleep, the at least 2 hours before, you need to, it is a science also, okay, you need to unplug yourself at least 2 hours before going to sleep. This means stop using your cell phone, stop watching I don't know, the TV or any other thing that is taking your attention. When we go to sleep, we need to relax, starting relaxing. Okay, so maybe turn on some lights, do listening relaxation music. Okay, that helps a lot. But putting yourself to close it, putting yourself in the mood to go to sleep and feed your brain in a good way. I hope it helps you.
Let's go with Scarlett from Australia. She says, due to the pandemic, I have been teleworking for months and months, and I do not exercise. It happens to me that I no longer find the motivation to start. How to regain the desire to move and the energy I need to do this?
Great questions. Thank you very much. The key there is motivation. And look, you are looking for motivation from outside. You're looking for the motivation to ignite yourself. But I have good and bad news for you. The bad news is that the motivation is not going to come to you from outside. If it does, it's going to be for a period of time. Motivation really comes from inside ourselves. We are the generators of the motivation in our life. And how do we do that? How do we create motivation in our life? Knowing exactly what we want. But we have to, sometimes we give up our dreams. We give up our goals because we don't have faith in ourselves. And that is what we need to recover. We aspire to big dreams, and then we don't have even the faith to do the very little step. But we need to start focusing, not for the end of the process, but at least for the first step, the very first step. Focus yourself in your dream, but you need to know your first step and create the motivation to do that very first step. I hope it helps you also.
Valeria, thank you very much. We've got no more time for answering questions, but of course, I'm already inviting you to come back soon, very soon, for sharing a new space with me so we can give more information and, of course, answer the questions that we've got no time to do today. Thank you very much. It has been a real pleasure for me, and I want you to know about the people who has been watching us from different countries like the United States, Spain, Cuba, Argentina, the United Kingdom, Mexico or Australia. Of course, I'm giving you a few seconds for saying goodbye or for sharing your final thoughts for today.
Thank you. Well, it was a pleasure being here and having the chance to share this message with you. I can guarantee you that we can transform our emotional state because I did it. And if I did, and I went through very, very hard times in my life, I know that you have also that possibility. And if you follow these steps, and if you keep watching this video again, I'm sure that you can also do it. And I wish you the best. Thank you.
For all of you, she was Valeria De Luchi. Valeria, I hope to see you very soon. And to you, dear friends of Mindalia, I want you to remember that you can join us through our different platforms and channel: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, VK and Vaun Live. I also want you to know that you can enjoy all our content in Mindalia Radio, 24 hours of conscious content, and you can find all of this in our website www.mindaliaradio.com. Before saying goodbye, I also want to remind you that Mindalia.com is a non-profit organization. You can collaborate with us by liking our content, leaving us a positive comment, and of course by subscribing to our channel or different platforms, as I said before. And also by sharing this video with someone else. Finally, you can also donate through a link you will find in our website www.mindalia.com. By doing so, you help us to keep creating more content like the one you enjoyed with us today. Having said all of this and feeling really, really grateful, I'm ready to say goodbye, but just for now, until a next Mindalia live streaming. Thank you very much.